Happy Sunday. Hello Facebook, hello Instagram. I'm Alli Kerr, women's fitness and fat loss expert, and we have a fun topic tonight. We're going to be talking about carbs. We're going to talk about how to cut carbs for getting the best results, what carbs we want to cut, what carbs we want to keep, when to do it, when not to do it as far as cutting your carbs. And then I'm going to even share with y'all just kind of the best time to taper your carbs and some of the sneaky high carb foods that we may not realize have as many carbs as they do. When I was younger, I basically lived on carbs, especially in high school, in college. One of my favorite things to do in high school, I got to give a shout out, was to go to Village Pizza in McRae, where I grew up, and eat breadsticks all the time, which were loaded, which was just bread and garlic and butter and cheese and some red marinara sauce. And I thought that was like the best meal in the world. And so that made up a lot of my calories and food when I was in high school. And then when I went to college, I ate a lot of frozen pizzas, which were just loaded with carbs. I didn't eat a lot with like pepperoni. I was never a fan of that. So I would get, a veggie pizza, but it was still just lots of carbs topped with some fat. And I would eat, if I was not eating pizza, I was probably eating cereal when I was in college. I ate a lot of cereal, which is just nothing but carbs. And I didn't, and of course the cereal that I loved was peanut butter Captain Crunch. So I lived off of peanut butter Captain Crunch and pizza. And if I wasn't eating that in college, I was going to Zaxby's, because I don't know if y'all know that I went to Georgia Southern, and Zaxby's, like the original Zaxby's, was there. And so it was right on the campus. And they had those seasoned fries, and they had this thing called an Italian chicken sandwich. And so I would get that, which was breaded chicken. There was a little chicken in there somewhere. Buttered bread and marinara sauce and cheese and those fries. And then they gave you like extra toast or something. So it was just carbs, carbs, carbs everywhere. And I ate like that. And I don't know how I didn't gain like 100 pounds in college. I had to change my ways because my body started changing in a way that I was miserable with. My clothes did not fit. I kept going up in sizes, and I was not liking the way I was looking, and I was packing on, getting a little too much squishy and not enough toned and tight. And so I just didn't feel good. And it was not until I did not change my ways until I got help from a coach. And I would still be lost today if it were not for that nutrition coach that helped me and taught me how to change my eating and how to cut my carbs in the right way. Not cut them out completely, but cut them in the right way so that I would get the results that I was wanting and get the body that I was wanting and feel the way that I wanted to feel. So I want to share with y'all some of the things that I learned, and then I've used those over and over with clients with a very high success rate. So I don't want y'all to be lost like I was without a coach. We're going to talk about how to cut carbs, how to do it. We do not want to cut out carbs completely. And that was one of the things that I had to learn, because if you do, then you will not have any energy. You will get lightheaded. You can forget getting in a good workout if you don't have any carbs in your system. You can just forget it. You will be so just lethargic. You'll have trouble thinking clearly. And there are a lot of diets. We see diets all the time. Come and go, come and go. And there are always a carb excluding diets, like cut all your carbs or cut your carbs way, way low. That is something that's popular. And if you cut out a food group, you can lose weight. Some people don't. They don't get a lot of results when they cut their carbs too low, and they just feel cruddy. Some people lose weight, and then, who wants to cut your carbs for the rest of your life and never enjoy anything good? And so what that does is it slows their metabolism down, and then when they start reintroducing those things that they want to have, they gain weight pretty quickly. Let's talk about what carbs to cut. We do want to cut some carbs out, most of us. We definitely do. All right, so what are some carbs that we should cut? Potatoes are actually something that you could absolutely fit into a balanced meal plan. Potatoes is something that I ate up until I ate those on competition day when I was doing fitness competitions. And yes, they were white potatoes, cut potatoes, white bread, and pasta. So I'm going to say don't cut potatoes. Don't give potatoes a bad rap. However, most of the potatoes that we get are so big. There's a lot more carbs in there than what we need. So you want to eat a little bit of that potato. So I'm going to say cut the whole potato, because you don't need to eat that whole potato at one sitting. Or some of the restaurants now have these potatoes that are like this big, and that's way too many carbs. So we can keep potatoes, but we just have to keep a little potato in our life and not the whole potato at one time. That is going to be something that will help us cut our carbs in a healthy way by just portion control that potato and eat a little bit. Eat it, just a couple, maybe 2-3 ounces of that potato instead of the whole thing. Yes, Cassie says chips and processed foods. Absolutely. Those are some of the things that we could absolutely go our whole life and not have, and it would not harm us one bit if we gave up the processed foods and the chips. Those things get in our system really, really quickly. And Carolyn said breads and grains. Yes, breads for sure. Definitely the breads on the bread aisle are definitely something that is a good thing to cut out. And it's not to say you never want to have bread, but it's just something that is just a good thing to, for the most part, just get rid of. Because all these breads, I don't care if it says wheat or white or what it says on it on the bread aisle, are just processed, junky, fast carbs. Now there is a time that it's better timing to eat a fast carb, and I'm going to tell y'all when that time is, so that if you do you're jonesing for some bread or a Reese cup, you'll know where to put it so you can still have it. All right, what are some carbs that we want to keep? What are some carbs that we want to keep? That's a common misconception, that folks do not realize that fruit is a carb. Now, because we're told that carbs are evil, we've been told that fruits are healthy, we for some reason don't realize that they're the same. That fruit is a carb. Now, fruit is a carb that has some vitamins in it, and it has fiber in it. And like berries are a slower acting carb. Bananas is a little bit faster. So there's even places we want to fit this fruit into our diet and not overdo it, because eating too much fruit can kick your carbs up too high. And a lot of folks don't realize that. I'm not saying don't eat fruit, y'all. We just have to do it in moderation. So if you're going through your day and you're just like, oh, I'm on this new diet and I'm just eating fruits and vegetables all day, well, that just means you're eating lots of sugar. Now you're getting lots of vitamins and you're getting some good fiber, but your carbs and your protein and your fats are all out of balance. And that's going to lead you being frustrated and not feeling your best. Because one of the things, when people eat too many carbs like I used to do, we don't get that sense of feeling full. It's like our blood sugar spikes, and then we just crave more and more. It's like a downward spiral, especially those fast acting carbs. It's like you just can't get enough of those things. They don't fill you up. So that is one of the things that we want to figure out, how to put our meals together so we know how to have some fruit. So we don't want to put fruit necessarily with oatmeal necessarily. If you're going to do that first thing in the morning, that's a little bit better, but you certainly don't want to do that right before you go to bed. And I just recommend that you separate those two carbs so that you're not double carbing, and you do like your oatmeal with some eggs. I do oatmeal with protein powder, or I may do a protein shake that doesn't have a lot of carbs and eat a piece of fruit with it, or put a piece of fruit in there. So that way I'm not doubling, tripling it and just eating a carb breakfast or meal. I'm actually spreading it out. So we talked about yams and lentils. Yes, sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, lentils, beans. Those are slower. Even oats, oatmeal, plain, not the processed fruity oatmeal, y'all. Sorry, but this oatmeal is better. This oatmeal is just plain oats, and it has 5 grams of fiber. So that's going to help slow it down and keep it from being so fast and getting in our system so fast. Because those fast-acting carbs, they are meant for immediate use. So if you're out running a marathon, then yes, you need those fast-acting carbs. But if you're sitting at your computer, not so much. We don't need it. And then they're going to store, and they're going to be frustrated because we're not getting the results that we want. What carbs to keep? So we want to keep those slow-acting carbs, and definitely have those in the morning. That's a good time to eat those and put them with a protein. and throughout the day. I like having a little carbs at every meal, because if I don't, I just feel like I just crash, and I feel tired, and I feel weak, and I like to get a lot done every day, and so I really need that juice, that not real juice, but that little bit of carbs with my protein to give me the energy to get all the things done that I want to get done. All right, so let's talk about when to have carbs and when to cut them back. So a good time to have carbs is first thing in the morning, and you still want to put a protein with them, and I don't mean one boiled egg. So in the morning, having some kind of carbs, and I would recommend doing like 3 eggs, get rid of 2 of the yolks, and a fourth to half a cup of dry oatmeal, and then you make it, and it makes more. And that is a good balance to start your day, and that's a good slow carb put with some good protein, and that's a great breakfast. And you want some black coffee with that. That would be an amazing kickstart to your day. And then another place you want to definitely have carbs is before you work out. I see this mistake so often. Ladies will come into the gym to get in a workout, and I'll say, when was the last time you ate? And it's like 5 in the evening. And they're like, 12 o'clock today. So it's been like 5 hours or more since this person has eaten. And they're coming into the gym wanting to get in a good workout. Well, guess what? You don't have any gas in your tank. Carbs are to exercise what fuel is to your car. So when you want to get up and go, you got to have fuel. And so when you want to get up and go in your workout, you need some carbs before, if you want to have, especially if you want to get in a good workout, you need those carbs before you get in there and get into your gym workout. And I would say 1 to 2 hours before your workout, make sure you're getting some carbs and a protein. I want you to put a protein with it. So some clients I have, they'll do cottage cheese and fruit. That's a protein and a carb. Or they'll do some tuna chopped up with apples, or they'll do some Greek yogurt salsa with some tortilla chips or something before workout. Those are good. Pure Fit bars, I have to give them a shout out. That's a great one that has protein, carbs, and fat, and they actually taste good. So I'm a fan of that one. As far as after your workout, if you have an intense workout, you want to have some carbs afterwards. And if you've been jonesing for a Reese cup, that's when you want to eat it. Right after that intense workout. That's the best time to have those fast-acting carbs. Or if you want to have like a piece of fruit, banana, something. And I also still put it with a protein. So I'll do a protein shake post-workout with some kind of fast-acting carb. Whether it be some Hershey syrup, or a piece of candy, or some fruit. That is a great time to have that something that you've just been craving that's a fast-acting carb. Is right after your workout. Now make sure you do it in moderation. That does not mean go work out and then go to Dairy Queen or somewhere and get a Blizzard. That's just nothing but loaded with sugar and fat. I'm talking about getting one fast-acting carb and putting it with some protein. That's a good post-workout. Here's one. I want to tell y'all about some sneaky carbs that y'all may not realize that y'all are getting, and that I want y'all to be able to have access to, or to know about, so that you're not wasting these carbs. So some sneaky high carbs that are fast acting are liquid carbs, like sweet tea, especially here in the South, sweet tea, coffee drinks, lattes, the frappuccinos, and the sugar that we throw in our coffees, sodas, all those liquid calories, they can have 50, 80, 90 plus grams of carbs just in that one drink. And there's no protein or anything to help balance that out. It's just all sugar. So I want to encourage y'all to go online. If you're somebody who frequents getting coffee drinks or those kind of liquid calories, look online at the nutrition facts. Most restaurants and chain restaurants especially, they post their nutrition facts, and you can go and look and see exactly how many carbs are in those drinks you're getting. So be aware of that. Just having knowledge and being aware, I think, will help us all. And that's one, luckily for me, I was never so into, well, I did drink sodas at one point, and then I went to diet, and then I got off of those, and that was hard because I was addicted to them. But but those liquid calories that have, most of them are full of sugar. I think that when people talk about sugar and carbs separately, that they are thinking, Cassie, about simple versus complex. However, carb is an umbrella term, and sugar is a carb. So when we talk about those things, they're not two different things. So that's something I just want to educate people on, that sugar is a carb. It's a carb. That's what sugar is. And so Even the more complex carbs, they turn to sugar. Everything turns to glucose. It breaks down, and then our body either uses it or stores it. So when you're thinking about sugar, just remember sugar is a carb. So calorie drinks that have sugar, those are carbs. Fruit, that is a carb. Oatmeal, that is a carb. Bread, that is a carb. And so carbs are everywhere. They're surrounding me right now. They're so easy to grab because they're just all around us. And so we do need to cut those. It is a good thing for most of us to cut our carbs, especially if we're wanting to lose weight. We just don't want to cut them out, and we definitely want to keep those good complex carbs like yams and lentils. And if you want to throw in some fast-acting carbs, just know where to put them. Let's talk about when you're going to eat that high carb. You don't want to do it before your workout is a good time, and earlier in the day, and after your, let's say that you are going somewhere to an event, and I want to hear if y'all can tell me some events where you might be exposed to lots of carbs, like a birthday party. There's some times when you want to especially go lighter on your carbs. If you're going to a birthday party and you know there's going to be cake and ice cream and you know you're not going to be able to stay out of it, then before you go to that party and after you go to that party, it would be a good idea to limit your carbs the rest of the day, because you're going to get so many at that one block. In an ideal world, you want to spread them out throughout the day. But on occasion, you're going to have, if you know you're going to have an event you're going to, and you're going to have a higher carb meal, you can also help yourself out by cutting some before and after. Another thing you can do to help, if you know that you're going to an event or somewhere, and I know Christmas and the Thanksgiving is coming up, so there's going to be tons of food and parties and everything. One of the biggest things I see people do when we are eating more carbs, we also tend to exercise less. And really, the reverse is what we should be doing. So if you're going to an event and you know you're going to be eating more carbs, make sure you get in a high intense workout before you go. And then the next day, make sure you get in another, good workout in the next day. That's also going to help you use up some of that sugar, that extra sugar that your body needs to either use or it's going to store. So those are great ways to help, kind of tricks you can do to help balance it out. Now, however, you cannot out-train a bad diet. If you're eating just tons and tons of carbs, working out is going to be frustrating, because you'll feel like you're not getting the results that you want. If you're just eating too many carbs, there's just no way to burn all that off. So those are some tricks you can do. In the evening, I like to cut my carbs in the evening a little bit more than the rest of the day, because I'm going to sleep. I don't really need energy. I'm winding down. So that's another place that I can trim some carbs that I'm not going to notice because I'm going to sleep. And then I can wake up and have my carb and protein breakfast. All right, so I hope that helps y'all to work on decreasing, especially those fast-acting carbs, and work on getting some carbs during the day at each meal with a protein. And don't do like me and live off of cereal and pizza, because it did not work for me. Also, don't do like me right before competition where I cut my carbs too low and I felt so cruddy, because that is not something that's going to help you long term, and it's not going to help your metabolism. Dieting and cutting your calories and carbs too low actually slows your metabolism. So we don't want that. We want to keep that thing firing so that when you lose it, you keep it off. And we want to change for a lifestyle. The problem with diets is it's, a lot of times they're for a short amount of time. So I encourage y'all to, my goal in my world of food and eating is to just work on continuing to make better choices and changes over time. I don't do it all at once. I'm always working on making improvements to my food. Always, always, always. So that's what I would encourage you to do. Just go for progress, not perfection. All right, I'll see y'all very soon. Mwah, mwah. Bye.